Great to see you guys again. So today we're gonna go over how to work with our LOX and our current processes at Loan Factory. Okay, we're gonna start with the system navigation first. Let me share my screen. Okay, everyone can see my screen now. Thank you, Joe. Keep in mind that this is a testing crowd, so some of the information will be a little bit different compared to our actual site. This can be a training ground for you guys as well. So I'm gonna give you the login to the site after this call. All right, we're gonna start with your profile setting first. So everyone here should have had a meeting with our HR department already to go through your profile setting. So I'm not covering this part anymore, but I will focus on your setting for the website and pricing engine and other settings that have not been covered by the HR department yet. So let's start with with your website setting. Okay. So you should have been assigned a link for yourself right here. And if you want to have a custom domain, you can purchase that from godata.com and add the custom domain to your system. So for example, if I want to add 𝐅𝐅𝐈𝐂𝐃.com, I can copy that. I can type that a domain and then copy the record to godata.com. If you need help with this, you can reach out to our IT department at it@loanfactory.com. Okay. For review, you have the option to show your personal review on Zillow, Yelp, or Google. You need to make sure that you have a personal profile on those websites. Otherwise, you can set up to show the common review on Google or Zillow. If you have an introduction video, you can add that here. That can be a video from YouTube. We have different templates for you to select for your website. You can choose them in the web page design and pick a design that you want to apply for your website. You can also edit content to show on your website here in web page content. Edit. So the edit that can be made including the content. You can add or remove a section on this website. For example, if I want to remove this one, this is for the lowest rate guarantee offer in Colorado and Texas. So if you want to remove this, you can click on the section and delete it, just like that. Okay, and if you want to preview how the website look like after you edit, you can click on this. Okay. Sorry guys, look like we're having a bug with this. Alrighty. Okay. Sorry guys. I will ask IT team to take a look on this. All right. For header and footer, you can edit the header and footer show on your website as well. You can edit or delete the section that you don't want to show up on your website. And for the bio, we encourage every loan officer to have your own bio. This bio would appear on your website. So this can be an introduction to your consumer to tell them who you are and what you can offer to them. Okay, for the custom script and metadata, if you want to add custom script from the other website, you can again reach out to the IT department for instruction to add those scripts. The next thing is the quote setting. So you have the option to show which lender to decide which lender to show on your quote engine. If you don't have any on this list, so the system will show every lender that we have on our quote engine. For example, this loan officer want to show Home Point Financial, they're no longer available. Okay, say like we want to show Rocket Pro TPO, Rocket Pro Correspondent, and PennyMac. Okay, so when the client run a quote on your website, they would only see the offer from those lender. Now click on the lender name. Sorry, click on this customize. Now, these are the state that this loan officer have the license in. And you have the option to use the max compensation allow for the state, which is 1.5, or if you can customize it. Okay. Sorry, guys, that's this again. This is the testing site, so the information will be a little bit different compared to our actual site. For a Texas, okay, you can use the maximum compensation allow or customize it if you want to lower your compensation. And the next thing is if you want to require the consumer contacts when they run a quote, you can click yes. Otherwise, they can just go ahead and get the price information right after they fill out the quote form. And if you select yes, so that will be a lead created when the consumer leave the information on our website. And you can decide to notify the broker or not, notify by email or by text message. And this is going to be the disclaimer will show on your quote screen. You can enter the default value for your quote form in here if you want to. And you also have the option to display those items on your quote screen. Like if you want to show the letter name or not, or allowing the consumer to create alert button on your website or not. Okay,
Hey, Harry, can I ask a question?
sure thing.
So where it says display closing costs, is it possible to display closing costs only to our internal site and then externally facing have that hidden?
Sure thing. Then you can click no for that.
So when I do that, it like when I log in myself, I can't see the closing costs either. So it seems like it has to be for both.
Can you show me that in an email?
Yep, I'll show you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. It's not supposed to be that way. Yeah. All right. And you will also have the option to display the loan program in your setting. So these are the program available on our system, and you can choose to display them or not. Let me show you the quote engine so you can have a better visualization of what I'm talking about. So you can see on top up here, we have the feature option, right? And if the borrowers want to see 30-year fix only, they can click on that. Now you can decide to show, go back to the setting. Okay, so you can decide to which program to be displayed and which program to be included in the feature tab. Okay, for example, if I select 30-year fixed, 25, 20, 15 years, all of them will be displayed, but only 30-year fixed will be featured if I don't select the other option. Okay, for the credit report setting, you guys should have received an email from HR department for your soft pull and hard pull login. For a soft pull, and this is the setting for the hard pull, okay? It should be in Meridian Link Credit Report tab. You can click on this one to enter the credit ID as well as the password. Keep in mind that the login ending in 01 would be your hard. And in order to, you need to make sure that you have logged into advanced credit to complete the required paperwork as well as enter the credit card payment so that when you have an actual application comes in, you won't have to stopper to, complete those tasks. Oftentimes, we see loan officer didn't complete that prior to, having have an actual application. So we have some time to get it settled. So make sure you do it up front, okay? And just in case you need to change the password for some reason, you need to log into my profile, go to this section to update the password as well, because this password will auto populate when you're trying to pull this when you're trying to pull the credit, right? So you need to make sure it's correct. You can have multiple login at the same time. You can have one with advanced credit and another one with the other credit vendor. But right now at Loan Factory, we only working with advanced credit. You can have the option to allow the borrower to pull and pay for their own credit report. You can also allow your processor to use the credential to pull the credit report. I recommend you to turn this on because allowing them to pull the credit report would so they would help you to pull the credit report just in case you don't have the assets of the system. But the password would not be visible to them. And this one for a subpool. Okay, the subpool ID should be the one ending in 02. The password will be included in the email from HR as well. So you have the option to do the subpool from Chance Union, Experience, or Equifax, or just one of them. Okay, we recommend you to do experience to save the money. Otherwise, you can do a trimers, so you can have full information from our three credit bureaus. All right, that's it for the profile setting. Any question so far about this? Okay, so the next thing I want to show you guys is our pipelines or our LOX. So we divide our process into three major pipeline, which are leads, prospects, and loans. So this is where you manage your lead. Okay, you can add a lead by clicking on this button and add one by one manually. Okay, you just need to fill out the information required by the system. Or if you have multiple leads that need to be imported, you can click on action, click on import mutable lead. Okay, you can download the CSV file because you need to include them in a CSV file. You can download the template and enter the information in that worksheet, and then upload it to your system. Once done, you can click import to import those leads to your pipeline. You would have an option to send a text message to the bars as well, but keep in mind that the text message will be sent out from the company phone number. Okay, this is the date the lead were created, and this is the date it will last updated. This is for the borrower's name, and this is the application ID automatically generated by the system. Referral language. Okay, Lauren Mal, call and text. So right now we don't assign residential extension to loan officer, but this is for the if you do have one. So this is more for the associate, for our internal staff. So this will be a tracking system between the conversation between the processor and the consumer. This section for the lead source. If you do this below, the source of the lead you got. Preferred method of communication. The status. So we have different status of the lead. This is new. You can change that to contacted, conversation, interested. You can leave a note as well. And priority. This is the other ways for you to categorize your pipeline. So you can decide to, so let's say you classify as highest, right? So when you start working on a pipeline, you can start from the highest priority first and then work on the lower one currently. You know, this will be helpful for those who has huge pipeline, hundred of loan, and you need to work on the loan smart. So this is the option that we can offer. Now, for the note, so this is the way we can track what's going on with the application. So if you look at the note on the file, you can tell the what was going on, what was the update. You as an officer will need to leave a note as well whenever you work on the application. If you have an important note that you need to see later on, you can pin the note. You can see the pin note right here. Okay. You can input a note by, for example, we caught this borrower's. Okay. You can save it. Or you can also, if you want to send an email to maybe your LO8 or to the borrower as well. I test. Okay. You can send an email to the consumer by using this note feature, so your conversation can be recorded. Keep in mind that you need to copy yourself as well in the email, so that when the client replies to you all, you will get a copy of that email. Otherwise, because this email being sent out from the R system, not your email. So if you don't copy yourself, there will be a high chance that you would not get the borrower response if they happen to reply to it. You can change the title for the email as well. This is default title when you send out an email from the system. Okay. The rate tracking. So you can set a rate alert for the consumer for the scenario. You can click on this one, enter the pricing parameters. Let's do 500K property value, 20% down. Okay, good FICO score. Lender paid. So we have the option for lender paid and borrower paid. So if we do in lender paid, keep in mind that in California we have 1.5%, and for the other state that would be 2.5. Property type, primary home, conventional loan. Okay, now we have everything we need. You can go ahead and get a quote. You know what? Let's use this tab instead, so we don't have to wait. Okay, so this is what you should see after running a quote, right? So I'm showing you so you fix option. So this is the rate, and this is the APR, and this is the lender name offering this rate. You can see more lender by clicking on this arrow. Okay, this is the lender point or credit. So we're doing lender paycom, and the pricing included the conversation already. One thing different from our system compared to the other pricing engine is that even if you do a borrower paycom, the pricing, the discount point, or the credit that you see already included already have the conversation baked in. Okay, this is the payment for the loan, and you can see the closing cost right here. I'm sorry, I cannot remember who asked this one, but when you don't select to show the closing cost button, the consumer should not have the option to see the closing costs on the end when they run a quote on your website. So if you click on this one, you should see the information on the estimate cost, right? The cost formation was generated with reference from 𝐅𝐅𝐷, our title and escrow partner. And rate tracking, you can click on this one to set up a rate alert for your client. You can choose to send them an email when the target hit, or you can send an email daily or weekly. You can set a target for them here. Right now the point is 31,000. If you set a target to be 0 and the email frequency to be target hit, then the system would only send an email when the point come down to 0. You can send an email, text message, or both. Here you can disclose the contact information, the email. If there's someone now that needs to receive this email, you can disclose the email here as well, and the phone number. Okay. Once done, you can click on rate tracking. Okay, now we'll go back to the lead pipeline. So the alert that I just created, that was a standalone alert. So the consumer, that is not linked to this application. Okay, so if I want to link to the application, let me do that again.
Harry, I have a question.
Hi, Eric.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. Go ahead.
On this rate tracking, I've noticed that I can't really pick out a rate that I want. It just gives me a drop down with, 3 options, and they're all either at today's rate that is being quoted or maybe a 1/4% higher. I can never go lower. How do I do that?
You've probably seen the feature options. Can you try it again and see and click on 30-year fixed tab
Got it.
to see all the option available? Yeah,
Got it. Got it. Okay, that makes sense. That worked. Thank you.
no problem.
Awesome.
Thanks, Eric.
You bet.
Okay, now go back to this pipeline. I'm sorry, guys. I was about to show you how to create a rate alert as well as a lead at the same time. So you should see an option that option should be listed at the bottom, but the system is delaying. Sorry for that. Okay, now go back to the pipeline management. So we expect a lot of visitors to work on your pipeline daily. So, but if you happen to have an application, the bar is not so active, you can set a follow-up date on that. So let's say this client you already talked today, and you will probably follow with them back in 2 or 3 days. Then you can click on this action, click on need to follow up, and select the follow-up date. And the reason why we follow up or detail or the conversation we had before, so you can catch up with that when you had the next conversation with the borrowers. Okay, You can select to send an email to you or text, then submit. Okay. We expect every loan, every transaction in the system should have a follow flag. So make sure to update the follow flags so the LOA can tell what is the expectation on that application. If they don't see a follow flag on that, they would reach out to you to create it, or they can help you create, or you can ask them to help you create a follow flag if needed. Okay. Anyone has any questions so far? Let's look at the chat to see if anyone has a question. Okay, we have one from Sam. For pre-qualification, you need only experience. For pre-qualification letter in our system, we don't really need the credit report. I will show you how to create a pre-qualification letter when we get to the prospect pipeline. And how do you show closing fee to consumer? Oh, I just show you how to do that on a quote engine. So if you want to have to choose lay that option to consumer when they're on a quote on your website, then you can select to show that in the code setting that I just showed you. Right here. Okay. Again, anyone else have a question on this? On the lead pipeline? All right. Let's move on to prospects. Okay. So the prospect pipeline should have similar view to the lead, but it's going to have some advanced feature. So now if you click on the borrower's name, you're going to see, okay, this is a loan action. This is the to-do list and the note. I'm going to circle back to this later on for to-do. Click on the short application for the 1003. So to those new officers that just recently joined the industry, so 1003, I sometimes say 1003, that stands for the mortgage application. Click on this one to see the prospect information. This is the place you would go to if you need to send out the pre-approval letter as well. This is for the front-end DTI, and this is for the back-end DTI. Right now, the system not allowing me to send out a pre-approval letter because the DTI being over 50%. This is where we manage the document. We have some subfolder, and if you want to access this folder on Drive, you can click on this link to access the Drive folder. And you can go to this section to generate the document. There's a lot of document that can be generated from the system. The authorization form, credit explanation letter. For example, if I want to generate this, edit and generate, we have two versions, one for broker and another one for lender. Okay, and generate. Once generated, you can find a document in generated document tab right here. Now to the AUS. So you can run both DU and LP with just one click with our system. You don't need a login with DU or LP to run this. You just need to re-enter the information if needed for the account number and the password for your credit account. Oftentimes that should be auto-populate for you. Okay. Want the information to fill out, you can just go ahead and run it one-click AUS. Keep in mind that we can only run the AUS, we can only run DU if we have a hard pull credit on file. With LPA, you would not need it. Okay. The next one for estimated closing costs. So this is a place you can go to generate your LE. Yes, Eric?
Harry, just going back on that credit pool, you mentioned if we run in LP, we don't need to do a hard pull. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. The last time I was able to run LP without a credit report.
Without a credit report at all?
Yes. Let me double check on that actually.
Okay.
Because that was I was able to do without a credit report last time. But I will circle back to you on that, Eric.
Okay. Thank you.
But DU would definitely require a hard pull report.
Correct. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Now the estimate closing cost. So the system should automatically generate the fee from the escrow and title for you. But if you want to change that, you can edit. You can click on the fee to edit the amount or the fee name. Once done, you can go ahead and generate the LE form. Now, the information on the LE would missing the discount point or the credit if any. So you're gonna need to enter the percentage for discount point or dollar amount for letter credit. We're still working on improving this feature, so you can expect to have the prepaid and initial escrow payment as closing when we finalize this feature. Right now, you need to manually input the information if you want to show that on the LD. Okay. Once done, you can go to download directly, or you can access the file in document generated document folder. And this is the LD. Right. Now go back to the prospect pipeline. Similar to lead pipeline, you have the option to add the prospect. You can manually input a new application with this option, or input a new pre-qualified letter with this one. You can also upload a Fannie Mae file or an XML file if you can export that from your prior LOX, or you can invite the borrower to fill out the application themselves by sending them an email. When they get the email, they can just click on Start Application and fill out the application themselves. Okay, we have the option to enter the pre-qualified letter. So with this one, we only require limited information. We just need, let me bypass this. Okay, we just need the borrower's contact information, the base loan amount, loan type, loan program, okay? And then you can go ahead and issue the pre-qualified letter. Okay, here we go. The pre-qualification letter would have a different template compared to the other type of loan application. It just looks like this, okay? Okay, now let's break down the components on this prospect pipeline. Here we have the loan amount, and this is the application. This is the pre-qualification application that I just created. We also have pre-approval, okay? So if you have a pre-approval application, please make sure that you select pre-approval instead of purchase and enter TBD into the address bar. This is how soon the consumer wants the pre-approval letter. And this is the loan type. We will also have the status and priority on this pipeline. For to-do, you can use this one to request documentation from the borrowers. Some of the items will be auto-generated when the client completes the 1003. So if the client is salaried, they are employed, then the system would ask for the W-2, pay stub. Otherwise, if they are self-employed, that will be a to-do for tax return generated. You can also customize it by clicking on the to-do name and update as needed. For the to-do that has been, provided by the client, you will see the file uploaded here. The files, when uploaded, will show up in the document tab. For those that has been cleared by the client, you can clear that to-do from the list. We would also have a to-do list for loan officer. You can input your own reminder here, and another tab for closing agent. So we would have a portal for closing agent to upload the required documentation for the loan here. Okay, this is the progress bar for the application. We would also have note feature on prospect pipeline as well. And the DTI. So if we have sufficient information, the system would calculate the DTI for you and show it here. Rate tracking. The same to lead pipeline. For action, you can clone this application. Let's say the borrowers want to purchase multiple applications at the same time. So you don't want to have them fill out multiple application. You can just clone the application that they completed, convert to loan. So let's say the borrowers got a contract accepted, the offer accepted, they got a contract. then you can convert the application to loan to have the processing team work on it. If this application will convert from lead, you can connect the lead with this application by clicking on this option. You can also change the prospect type. So right now, this is a pre-qualification. You can change it to pre-approval, purchase, re-intern, refinance, anything you want to. Export to Miximo 3.4. So you can export the application to 3.4 file and register it on the lender portal. Okay, import from Miximo 3.4. You can click on this one and upload the 3.4 file to replace the existing data. Or if you want to keep existing data and just use the information from the upload file only, so you can select that option. Okay. You can also invite the borrower to complete the allocation for you. Email participants, you can use this feature to email the owner of the application, including borrowers, your LOAs, the processor, if any, conversation history. So you can see emails or text message from the processor who using RingCentral in this one right here. This is the email we send to the client from the system. And Server Desk. So Server Desk is a resource we offer to loan officer. So you can request help from our underwriting team if you need assistance on structuring your loan. You can add a ticket in escalation desk. For category, select pre-approval underwriting request if that is for a pre-approval. Or you can also select underwriting request if you have a general question. The ticket owner which should be Brian Lay, who is our in-house underwriter. We also have Logan, who is our non-QM specialist. He will be helping you with recommendation on pricing and products for non-QM loan. You should leave a detailed description on how we should assist you with your request. The more detailed your request is, the better. Priority. So our turn time currently for a ticket is 1 business day. So basically, underwriting team should get back to you with the result for your loan within a day. But if you have an urgent request, you can select a higher priority so we can work on that application sooner. Okay. You can also log in as a borrower to, I'm not sure why we still have this option. That should be removed already. Similar to leads pipeline, you also have the option to update, add, or remove a photo flag on your transaction. Okay, you can create knowledge base. So this is something like for you to ask a reference for the company, like a study case. Create an incident. So I noticed some loan officer using this feature to create a ticket to request something. Please keep in mind that this is only for management team to create an incident if something happened on the file and we need to, we need a reference to go over with the team later on to make sure that we don't make that mistake again, basically. All right. Again, any questions so far on prospect pipeline? It is a form or disclosure for those who has an active real estate license. Yeah, we do. We have that. So let's see. Go to document, generate document. I'm not sure if we have that within the system, but I do recall that we was working on it a couple of days back. That's called the dual disclosure. I'm sorry, Sheree, I don't have this form available in within generate tab. You can reach out to our licensing team for this form because I do think that we have different form for different state. Yeah. You may send an email to licensing@loanfactory.com, including the state that you're doing business in, so they can send the correct form to you. Okay. I also want to show you how to pull the credit report from your system. So click on the short application, go to liability. and pull the credit report. For this application, keep in mind that when the clients submit the application, we don't ask for the full social security number. So we only ask for the last 4 digits of the SSN. So when you're trying to pull the credit, you need to have this number available. We have this stopper to prevent the completion of 6 pieces of information so that we would have to issue the LE within 3 days. So when you get this information, when you're trying to pull the credit, you need to have that and fill out this one. So, okay. So you need to select the vendor. That should be Advantage Credit. For the credit ID, that should be auto-populate for you. Okay. All right. So that's how you do it. Now for pre-approval, you can go to prospect information, click on qualification. Again, this one was the DTI was over 50%. So you need to structure the application so that the DTI below 50% before you can generate this letter. Let me increase the income. I'm just trying to bypass the system to show you how to generate the letter. Of course, when you work on the actual application, you need to verify the client income, the depth, run an income analysis before you enter that information to the system. Okay. And now it's still pre-approval letter. You can click on this one to see the pre-approval letter from our system. This is how it's look like. Okay. You can also include the message to the client. Normally, the loan officer would send something like the reminder to not open new credit card, don't buy new car, or open new debt, stuff like that, to the client. Okay. Once done, you can save an email. And besides sending out the pre-approval letter from our system, you can also get the lender to preview your application and issue something called verify approval, or we can also say TBD approval. So right now we have Rocket can offer this, and some all other lenders offering this as well. So if you need help from the processing team to submit the application and a document to the lender for review, you can go to ServerJazz, add a ticket for Emmy. The category should be TBD approval. The ticket owner on the actual system would be Emily. Leave her a description, okay, on how she should submit that application for you. You need to make sure that the application is complete, that was the hard pull available on file, and we have sufficient documentation to submit the packet to the lender for underwriting. Okay, let's take a look at the question. When the LE is generated, will it be by processing first to review when we don't have a lender selected? Yeah. So when the system, generated LE, then that would not automatically get sent to the client. So you have the option to review first before sending it out to your client. If you want to give loan approval, the actual is TBD, so you can consider the option that I just told you about for the verify approval. With Rocket, some other lender I know that they can offer that as well, including Cardinal, some other lender. Okay, now go back to the pipeline management. So before we go to the loan pipeline, I want to show you how to convert a complete prospects that is ready to send to loan processing team to work on. Now, if you have a contract and the fee sheet, then you can go ahead and convert this loan. Click on action, convert to loan. You need to enter the address. The other information should have, we should have the other information available on the application already. For the lender, you need to select a channel. So right now, correspondent, we only doing mini correspondent with Rocket Pro. Other than that, you can do wholesale. Okay, you can do Rocket. Enter the loan number. At this phase, we should not have the loan number. That will be entered by the processing team once they get your application registered on the lender portal. Enter the loan story. Make sure we have a detailed loan story so that the team can tell, what's going on with the application. This should include the information that is not available in the tunnel tree, like additional information about the borrower's employment, some background story on the application. For the owner, you need to, your LOA, your assigned LOA should be auto-populated. If you're not seeing your assigned LOA populate in this one, let her know. You should let HR know at hr@loanfactory.com and they can get an update for you. Okay, next thing. So at Loan Factory, we have something called assembly line processing. So basically, we're gonna divide the process into three smaller pieces. We have submission, we'll be in charge of registering your loan and submit the package for underwriting. Once we have the initial approval, that will be a condition processor to work on condition of your loan. And once we have clear to close status, there will be a closing process assigned to your loan to work with the CD balancing and prepare the docs for a client to review before they get to a closing table. We're going to talk more about the scope of work of each loan office processor later on when we get to the loan processing part. Now, for assembly line, we're going to have two options, one for East Coast and another one for West Coast. So depending on your working hour, you can select West or East. It's up to you. Okay, when you select an assembly line, that should be a submission processor populate for you. Just keep it as is, okay? You should notify the transaction owner so the person can tell that we just have an application converted. Compensation. So you need to select how you would like to compensate on this one. We can do lender paid or borrower paid. So if you select lender paid, we would just follow our current brew for lender paid comp to slow you on that loan. Again, lender paid comp for California is 1.5, and for our state, that'll be 2.5%. You can do borrower paid comp if you want to charge the borrowers lower than that, but make sure you select the borrower paid compensation percentage. Important dates. So this one is for contingency dates, if any. I'm aware that in some state we don't have the concept of contingency, or this is not require some time. So if that's the case, then you can enter the contract acceptance date in this section. So we can tell that we don't have the contingency. This is for the COE, closing of escrow, and contract acceptance date. All right. Okay, that should be it. Once done, you can go ahead and convert this prospect to loan. Again, I want to emphasize that before you convert an application to loan, you need to make sure that you have the contract uploaded to the folder, as well as the fee sheet from the escrow, the estimated closing disclosure. If you wanted to estimate the fee, then you can include that in the loan story. Okay, so we will estimate the fee for you. But keep in mind that for correspondent channel, we do not recommend you to estimate the fee because wholesale lender like Rocket, they would allow us to, they would not charge the tolerance fee. We would not have to eat up the cost if the final cost happened to be higher than initially disclosed. But for Rocket Pro correspondent, they would charge us the tolerance because we are being the lender on that loan. Okay, so which is why we do not allow the loan officer to estimate the fee when we plan to send out the loan to Rocket correspondent. Now, let's move on to the loan pipeline. So in loan pipeline, majority of the tasks will be taken care of by the loan processor. The most two critical tasks to the loan officer would be to explain the documentation to your client and lock the rate. So I'm going to show you how to lock the rate for your loan. So this would consist of two steps. The first step would be for you to log into Lender Portal and execute the lock. Okay. So it depends on which lender you're working with. You can reach out to the account executive for instruction on how to lock the rate on the system. Once you lock the rate on the system on the end, you can go back to Loan Factory, click on the start of the loan. And this is the start of the loan, right? So click on that. Okay. To start showing that this one has not been submitted. So we don't see the lock option here. When you lock the rate, you don't have to do this task, okay? Because at that time, these should be done by the processor already. lock rate. Before you can confirm the lock status, you need to confirm if we have the appraisal waiver on the loan or not, and confirm if we obtain the credit card to order the appraisal or not as well, because we expect that the appraisal will need to be ordered by the time we lock the rate. Now you can go ahead and confirm the lock status. Here you need to disclose the lock rate, lender point of credit, the lock expiration, empower or not, then update. When you update the loan status, there will be an email sent out to your client with a subject of lock confirmation. And the information you have here will be disclosed on that email. If you don't want that email to be sent to your client, you can turn on this one, and there won't be any email to the client when we change the status of the loan. Okay. Now let me show you the POD at loan factory again. Okay, so most of the time the loan will start in prospects. So when you have the new prospect comes in, it can be you add that application or the bars applied on your website. So we need to contact the bars for initial information first. So initial information including like they purchase, the target purchase price, the affordability for down payment, stuff like that. Otherwise, you can have the bar to complete the application on our system for the information, as well as the authorization to request the credit. We would also collect the authorization when a borrower complete the application on their end, but it will be better if we can have the verbal confirmation as well. Okay. Now, after we had the initial conversation, if you don't have the complete information from the borrowers yet, you still need documentation. You still need them to complete the application. Then you can follow up with them. Once we have sufficient information, you can go ahead and review the application and the document for the income analysis and verify the information on the journal tree. You can also pull the credit and run the AUS to determine eligibility. If the application, is not a vanilla case, you need to structure it. You can also reach out to underwriting team for help with structuring a loan. Once you can find a program that can fit the borrower's need, you can go ahead and issue the pre-approval letter. So during this time, after we issue the pre-approval letter, that will be some time for the client to find a home and offer, you know, and then later on when you get the offer accepted, you need to get the contract and the fee sheet from escrow and convert the application to a loan. During this phase, the LOA would be helping you with the question you have on, the systems, or if you need them to issue the pre-approval for you. So pretty much technical support and general support regarding the processes. You know, keep in mind that our LOA would not be helping you with follow-up with your client. So you need to do the self as a loan officer. Now, after converting the application to loan, that would be for the processing team to take over. The submission processor will be working on registering the loan on the lender portal, and that'll be a package for the borrower to acknowledge. Keep in mind that there will be two packages for the borrower to acknowledge, one from Loan Factory for the broker compliant package, and another one will be from the lender. Once the borrower is signed both package from Loan Factory and from the lender, submission processor will go ahead and submit this full packet to underwriting. You can lock the rates anytime now. Otherwise, you can just monitor and determine when to lock the rate. And you should order the appraisal as soon as we get the loan register as well. Okay. Once we have the initial approval, that will be a condition processor to get involved and help you with requested document from the borrowers or escrow to clear condition. So at this phase, you have the option to have your condition processor to talk to your client directly for documentation. And then after we got all of the condition clear, then there will be the closing process chime in and help you schedule closing date. As well as prepare the final package for the borrowers. So you need to talk to your client and go over the number with them to make sure that they will be comfortably sign at the closing table. After that, we're going to have the loan funded, and the loan processor will collect the compliant documents, save them to the folder, and you will need to call the client to inform them of the status, and you will be able to request commission as soon as we receive the check from the escrow. Now, I will show you how to request the credit from our system. You can click on this request button to request commission for those loans that you have closed and the company received the check. Okay, you need to make sure that we got the check already before you can request for the commission. If you find that your loan has been closed and funded already, but you cannot request a commission, you can follow up with the closing processor or the accounting team. Okay. The next step I want to show you is some CRM function. So you can set up some email trip campaign on your pipeline. You can click on this icon on the top right corner. Click on email trip campaign. Okay, you can turn on holiday campaign and select when to send out email to your client. You can modify the header, the content of the email, and preview it as needed. So you can include a picture if you want to in your email. You can set a new campaign if you want to. This can be a holidays or a birthday. So these are the options available for the holiday. You can also set up a follow campaigns on your pipeline. So let's say for prospects, incomplete application. You can set up for a system to send out an email 1 day after the application created, or 3 days, 7 days, 15 days. It's up to you. Decide your subject and the email content, right? So these are campaigns available within our system right now. If you want to set up another campaign that is not available currently, you can send your suggestion to me, including ba@moso.com. Okay, we're gonna review it and let you know if we can add that campaign for you. You can also request review from your client directly after your loan is closed. You can do that in action, request a review. Let's see. Request for 5-star review here. Normally, the processor would remind you to send out requests to the client for review because to be honest with you, they would get compensated if we have good review from the client. So, but if you have a reason why we should not request a review from a client, because maybe things go haywire on the loan, something bad happens, you need to turn on this one. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You will also have an option to review your college who working with you on the loan. Let's see. Sorry, this is not available on this lesson already. I'm so sorry, guys. This is not available on this testing website. You should have this one available in the actual website. So sorry for that. And review tracking. So you can keep track of the review from your customer. From here, you can see all the reviews submitted from the client recently, but has not been claimed yet. You or your processor can go ahead and claim that review. Just basically, we want to look up the application with the name of the reviewer. If that's not the right name, you can change that and enter the name you believe that the review belong to. The review after being claimed will show in this pipeline. Another thing you can do is the mailing list. So if you have a list of contact from the oral sources, you can create a statistic list with that list. You can import the CSV list or the contacts list. or you can also create a diamonds list from your pipeline as well, from loans, from prospects. Okay. We also have a feature for referral routers, so you can manage your referral router with this tab. Okay, those people are going to have a website for themselves as well. You can enable the partner website. Right now, I'm not able to because I don't have the router specialist access, but you as the LO should have this access. So you can enable the partner website, and they will have a co-branding website, so they can utilize that website to have the consumer to go in and maybe run a quote if needed. The setting will be similar to your page setting. This page, you'll be able to track the application that you refer to this router. You can create a lead and refer the router if you have any. Or if the router have any loan that referred to you, the system will keep track of that as well. But make sure that we will select the router name in the application if that was a referral from that router. This is the rating for the relationship between you and the router. Okay. And the last thing I want to show you is marketing material. So you can generate some images, flyers from our system. So if you want to generate the flyer for the loan program, you can go to loan program and select the loan type that you want to generate the flyer for. You can also create some rate image. Okay. This is something that you can post on social media to tell everyone what's the rate today. And some images to post on holiday. Or some congratulation image for loan that is clear to close. Alrighty. Okay. I think that should be it for the training today. So there will be some time for the Q&A section. So anyone have a question on those items that just covered today, please let me know. I will stand by for 5 minutes for the question, okay? Alrighty. You guys can also send me an email to harry@loanfactory.com. Sorry, Victor, I cannot hear you at this time, but you can always reach out to me at this email, harry@loanfactory.com, okay? Send me an email. We also have a support team to help you if you have a question. Oh, no worries, Victor. You can type in your question in the chat. Okay, just send me an email then. Okay, thank you guys for your time today with me. Just let us know if you have a question, okay? Client, authorized, can it be approved via email? Yeah, if you can have a written confirmation from the borrower's email is good. It would be better if you can have the authorization signed by the borrowers, but a confirmation in writing is good. Okay, collecting the appraisal fee, we have different options for that. So if you want to collect the appraisal fee, so I guess your question is that you want to pay the appraisal fee for the client upfront and collect it later on, right? If that is the case, then have them pay for it. Yes. So for the appraisal fee, we always have the loan officer to get the credit card from the borrowers. Yep, before lock, we can get the borrower credit card information and place the order. Somebody would recommend that we can send the payment link to the client by phone. Yeah, we typically ask that by phone. You can have your processor help you with that if you need it. Okay. All right. Okay. Thanks everyone again for your time today. Hope you have a productive week and enjoy the rest of your day. Okay. Thank you, everyone.